up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, back again with a bit more news. Well, it's not news, it's just an article that I stumbled across, and I thought, well, this might be interesting. I've not read it. But it's about probably my favourite Star Trek series, shock horror, Enterprise. Why isn't it Next Generation? Or why isn't it the original series? Or why isn't it Deep Space Nine? It just isn't. I really like Enterprise. There we go. It's the series I rewatch the most compared to the others. I do love all the others as well, obviously. But anyway, before we get into this, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Check the merch tab, the store tab. I've got a Patreon page. Links are in the description. Lots of links in the description for various things. So check those out. And become a member as well. You can become a member as well. So and get additional perks. Right, so this article from Screen Rant. It's from Screen Rant. John Orquiola, who's got a proper Star Trek name in my opinion. But anyway, here we go. Screen Rant says, John Orquiola says, Enterprise breaking a Star Trek rule within its first 3 minutes was shocking for its time. It didn't really break a rule. There wasn't really a rule to be broken. But we'll see. By the way, I do know what it's about. I didn't read the article, but I had a look down. So I do know what it's about. But then we'll get there. There's the Enterprise, NX-01. It's not the USS Enterprise, as stupid Star Trek Discovery called it. It's just the Enterprise. It's not even SS Enterprise. It's just Enterprise, NX-01. And there's the Captain, Jonathan Archer. And there's the bridge at night. Links in the description for that as well. Right, here we go. John says, I remember how hearing Star Trek Enterprise's theme for the first time was shocking back in 2001. It wasn't shocking. I'm one of those few people that liked it from the start. I really like the Enterprise theme. But I'll get into why, presumably when this is done. Created by Rick Berman and Brandon Braga, Enterprise was Star Trek's first prequel series set in the 22nd century, 100 years before Star Trek, the original series, just over 115 years. Enterprise, its original title minus Star Trek, it didn't become Star Trek Enterprise until season 3. It was about the pioneering voyages of Captain Jonathan Archer, Scott Bakula. Scott Bakula! That's a What We Do in the Shadows joke. Of the NX-01 Enterprise, the first starship to bear that name in on-screen canon, but not really in on-screen canon either, because there were I forgot what it was, the XCV, the ring ship, because that were in Star Trek the Motion Picture, we saw it on the screen, so technically it wasn't. But that classed as a starship, I think it was supposed to be, I think it had warp capability, I'm sure it did. Anywho, airing from 2001 to 2005, Star Trek Enterprise was cancelled after 4 seasons on United Paramount Network UPN. We can thank Les Moonves for that. I was an early adopter, says John, of Enterprise, and I watched all 4 seasons on UPN. Enterprise's ratings were low for a variety of reasons, and many Star Trek fans decided to skip the prequel series. In the last decade, thanks to streaming on Netflix and Paramount, it's still on Netflix in the UK, Paramount Plus, audiences have begun to rediscover and reassess Star Trek Enterprise. I've liked it from the get-go. I have. Even though it kind of tweaks canon. But anyway. Yet a general dislike for Enterprise's theme song remains. Not from me. Still, if you weren't watching UPN on September 26th, 2001, you didn't experience the shock of hearing Where My Heart Will Take Me for the first time. So here we go. Enterprise's theme song was a huge shock of me. I'll play a little bit. I'll play a little bit and then we'll talk. I can't play I'll get a copyright strike, won't I? But anyway, here we go.
It's been a long road getting from there to here.
There we go. So it was that song. And they did jazz it up. I think from season 3 onwards, maybe. They did jazz it up a bit to make it a bit more less melancholy. But I like both versions. A bit like what they did with Deep Space Nine, didn't they? From season 4 onwards in Deep Space Nine, they jazzed up the kind of slow, sad theme that Deep Space Nine had, didn't they? Anywho. Right, less than 3 minutes into Star Trek Enterprise's premiere, Broken Bow, the opening credits began with the now familiar lyrics, "It's been a long road." Get from there to here. Sung by, I was going to say in a minute, I would guess that my jaw wasn't the only one that dropped watching Enterprise's opening titles set to Where My Heart Will Take Me, sung by Russell Watson. I don't know if they'll get into this, but the song wasn't written for Enterprise. I think it was first heard in the film Patch Adams, wasn't it? But I've not seen that film, so I don't know what it sounded like in that. Presumably sung by somebody else. Anyway. The syrupy track accompanied the dazzling visuals of ships named Enterprise throughout history. Well, some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Anyway, the human race becoming astronauts and the launch of the NX-01 and Enterprise. It was and remains unlike any Star Trek opening credits before or since, and it's a really good opening title, I think. And it was puzzling to experience for the very first time, but it's kind of going with the song. Don't you get it? It's been a long road getting from there to here, and the credits are showing you that long road. Oddly enough, it doesn't show the Third World War and all that, does it? But World War III and the eugenics wars, it doesn't show that. But anyway, unless you're watching the season 4 episode In a Mirror Darkly, which kind of does show that. Anyway, it shows war things anyway. The Star Trek TV series' opening titles are usually set to grand orchestral themes composed by luminaries like Jerry Goldsmith. They did do an orchestral theme, which we hear it at the end. That do 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 do. They hear that at the end. Anyway. Of each episode. Enterprise had a pop song and one that was adapted, from the movie Patch Adams to boot. Enterprise's creators, Rick Berman and Brannon Braga, wanted something different from the prequel and chose Where My Heart Will Take Me because the lyrics lent themselves to the spirit of human exploration. Yes. Berman and Braga have taken flack from fans for Enterprise's theme ever since, but not from me, and the song generally remains derided, but not from me. By me. Although some Star Trek fans, myself included, and me, admit to liking or even loving Where My Heart Will Take Me. I even did like a fan extension of it. I thought it's not long enough, so I did on my computer. I got the old audio thing in and made the song longer, just by copying and pasting the verses, just making it longer. Because I love the song. Because I'm weird. Enterprise's theme song immediately confirmed it was a very different Star Trek show. Yes, it did. Oh, and that did as well. The decon chamber. Anyway, whatever. Let's have a look at the pictures. There's the decon chamber. The lovely Jolene Blaylock as T'Pol. Excuse me. Connor Trinier as Trip Tucker. Lubing themselves up with decontamination gel. Because they didn't use the transporters a lot in Enterprise. They did use them occasionally, usually in emergencies only, because the transporters were around, but they were kind of I don't know, they were reliable. They worked when they needed them. Some might say they're more reliable than future transporters because they didn't use them as often and they generally worked when they needed them. But they used to take shuttle pods. They didn't even have proper shuttles. They had shuttle pods which were small. But anyway, there's the grapplers. Windgrace's favourite thing, if he's watching. He loves the grapplers because they didn't have tractor beams. I said the NX-01, it was a pretty spare ship compared to a lot of the other races out there. It didn't even have tractor beams. It didn't have shields. It had ablative armour. I think, and also they used to polarise the hull plating to help deflect energy bolts and stuff. Which worked a bit. That's young Jonathan Archer there and his dad. Whose name I've forgotten? Henry? I think it's Henry Archer, isn't it? He's the man who invented or developed the Warp 5 engine, but didn't see it fly. He died before he saw it fly. Jonathan, with his son as captain. This is from the opening part of the pilot episode. The like using a remote control aircraft thing. And there's the crew. There's Jonathan Archer. There's T'Pol. Who else we got? Is that Mayweather? I think it is. Being very smiley. And behind there's Crewman Cutler. I don't know who he is, but there's Crewman Cutler, who appeared a few times in Enterprise, and I actually really liked her character. She kind of sort of fell in love a little bit with Dr. Phlox, but it didn't go anywhere because he's got umpteen wives. But the Nobulans are pretty promiscuous when they want to be. Their culture allows it because they have umpteen wives, and the wives have umpteen husbands. But anyway, and he was like her character. But unfortunately, the actress passed away, which was very sad. The actress Kelly Waymeyer. I don't know her first name, by the way. The character, just Crewman Cutler, Crewman First Class Cutler. But yes, Kelly Waymeyer passed away. She died of basically a heart attack from an undiagnosed cardiac arrhythmia. So there we go. So she just died at home in Venice, Los Angeles. So very sad, very sad. But anyway, I liked Crewman Cutler. But that's beyond the ken of this this article. And there's the beagle. I forgot his bloody name as well. Porthos. There we go. Porthos. There's Ensign Sato. I didn't like Ensign Sato. Sorry. Linda Park, I'm sure, was a lovely person, but I didn't like the character of Ensign Sato. Got on my nerves. Anyway, right. Star Trek Enterprise's main titles were a clear signal that the prequel would be unlike any other Star Trek series that came before. After producing hundreds of episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Voyager, plus 3 TNG movies at that point, Rick Berman and Brannon Braga hoped to tell different kinds of Star Trek stories with Enterprise. The original concept for Enterprise was even set on Earth before UPN demanded a more traditional Star Trek show. What they were going to do is the first season were going to all be set on Earth, and the Enterprise NX-01 didn't even get launched until I think the final episode of season 1, which would have been really boring in my opinion. So I'm glad they went with what they did. Anyway, but Berman and Braga tried to break Star Trek's mould as much as possible. Was it a tip? One UPN idea that Star Trek Enterprise's producers vetoed was having a boy band perform in every episode. People going about the Berman era being this golden age, and it was, but they did have some wacky ideas sometimes, didn't they? Anyway, from Captain Archer and his crew wearing baseball caps, I've got an NX-01 baseball cap. Hey dear, I'm gonna have to. There's an image of me. There's an image of me wearing that baseball cap. I will find it and put it there. Also in me, I've also got a uniform because I'm sad. I don't think it'll fit me anymore. But anyway. To Archer bringing his beagle Porthos with him into outer space, to the NX-01 Enterprise's primitive grappler technology, lack of shields and phasers. If they didn't even have phasers, they had phase cannons, which are different apparently, and imperfect transporters. But as I said, they did work when they needed them. Enterprise did what no other Star Trek show had before. Enterprise was also sexier, from the amount of skin Subcommander T'Pol, Jolene Blaylock, showed to the series' lurid decontamination scenes. I'm going to say that's the only time she kind of showed a bit of flesh, but it's not, is it? Because she got naked with Trip more than once, didn't she? Anyway. But where My Heart Will Take Me, which played in nearly every episode and was recomposed to be more upbeat in seasons 3 and 4, which they did, was a weekly reminder of how unusual Star Trek Enterprise was, that always elicits a reaction. Oh, there we go, that's it. Right, so that's my thinking of why they decided to go that way, with the having a pop song as the opening credits, the opening music. Is that it were closer to our time. It were only 2151 when the series began, which were only 150 years in the future. So it's closer to our time than they are to the TNG time, and it's not far off our time to what they are to the original series. It's not. Only, let's say they were 115 years-ish away from the original series timeline. I think about 150 years into our future. From when it were made in 2001, I think it came out, didn't it? So it was like 150 years in the future. So I thought they'd probably think, well, they'll still be listening to like pop music and stuff like that, which they did. And it'd show that these are humans that are more like us Earth people that are more like us than the poor-faced TNG people are from way in the future that have been out exploring the galaxy for hundreds of years, and they've become, diplomats and all this stuff, and they're going out. They've got the Prime Directive, and there's no Prime Directive in this. They've got the Prime Directive and all that stuff, and that's it. A bit poor-faced they were, weren't they? And a bit serious. They had the Enterprise crew going out and doing proper exploring. Sometimes seat of the pants exploring, and making mistakes and doing the wrong thing. But anyway, so there we go. So that's why I think they went with a song, and I don't mind it. I like the end title music as well. But I don't mind that they went with a pop song. I think it works myself, and I don't know why people are complaining. Because people have nothing better to do than complain about something. But I complain about things as well. People are thinking, what's he moaning about? So who knows what's gonna, push your buttons, so to speak. Anyway, so there we go. So like I said, I like it. I'll play a little bit more.
It's been a long time, but my time is finally near.
I wonder what he thought when, because it's Russell Watson, he's an opera singer. He's usually singing like this at the opera, isn't he? So, but they thought they'd get him in and do a pop song, so he's been all Rod Stewart, isn't it, and gravelly voiced. And I know he has done other pop songs and stuff, hasn't he? But he's more known for his opera singing and that, isn't he? He was in the original War of the Worlds, not original War of the World. When Jeff Wayne did his musical version of War of the Worlds and took it on stage. He was the original Parson Nathaniel, because obviously Phil Lynott couldn't do it. So they got Russell Watson in. But anyway, I'm waffling, I'm going on. Right, so we'll leave it there. What do you think of the Enterprise theme, Where My Heart Will Take Me? I really like it. They could have got a new song, though. They could have had somebody compose a brand new song rather than one that already existed, because that's just asking for trouble, isn't it? Because people say it would impact Adams with that. It's not even a new song. But maybe it was re-released in the 2150s, in top of the hit parade. Then, if they had hit parades in the 2150s. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I'm waffling again, aren't I? Right, so we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see you there. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. I'll see you there.